If you were hit hard by the flash floods and rain in April, help is finally here. Milwaukee County has just opened a disaster recovery center so eligible residents and small business owners can see what federal help is available and apply for it right now. Here to give us important information on how we can get that assistance is Cassandra Libal, Director of Milwaukee County's Office of Emergency Management. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
Do we know how much damage was actually done during the April rains and floods?
We don't have exact numbers right now because we weren't able to do the initial assessments for individual assistance that we were from prior years, but we definitely have avenues available for individuals to report their individual damage.
When we take a look at what help can be provided, how can FEMA help individuals who may have had items or damage that's not covered by insurance?
What residents really should start with is recording the damages that they had. So we can start with pictures, any kind of documentation that you would have available to you from receipts or just records in your home that you would have of your property that was damaged or any harm that you received during the storms. But then we can reach out to, on our county websites, we have links to FEMA. So you can go to FEMA.com, or you can also go to our disaster recovery centers that are out in the community. Those are available to you to go in person, to ask questions and get that individual assistance if needed.
And what kind of assistance can FEMA actually provide for homeowners?
Yes, I think that the number one thing that people really benefit from is some limited, I will be really upfront about that, some limited financial assistance through FEMA directly to individuals who have sustained damages. But then also we have access to various nonprofit organizations that are volunteering to help out in terms of cleaning up damages or any debris that needs to be cleared out, but also repair. So there's different avenues depending on the need of the individual, but FEMA can provide that direct financial assistance. It may not be enough to cover all of your expenses, but it is something to get you started.
What are some of the advantages of coming to the Disaster Recovery Center to begin that process?
There's lots of advantages. Like I said, you do not have to go. I'll be clear that you do not have to go to the disaster recovery centers. You can register online if that is something that you're comfortable doing. But the recovery centers definitely create a space for people who may not be comfortable using the technology, so they can go in person. Or if you have a lot of questions that you may have and you just want to be able to talk person to person to ask those questions and get those immediate answers, the recovery center is a great resource for that.
And when we think about those recovery centers, you mentioned earlier, make a list, start to catalog what damage was done that wasn't covered by insurance if you had insurance. How important is it to bring that info? If you're going to the Disaster Recovery Center, how important is it to bring that information with you?
Absolutely. Wonderful question. I think that is key because they only can reimburse what they know about. And so the more that you have documented, that will impact the amount that you will receive. So the more that you can show your damages and definitely have proof of those damages, the more that it opens up for you as an individual to receive those funds.
And folks, we're going to have the information about where the Disaster Recovery Center is located and the hours that it's open on the screen several times during the interview. But people can't get help from only FEMA at the Disaster Recovery Center. If you're a small business owner, the Small Business Administration will have representatives there to help as well.
Yeah, that's correct. They have a separate location. It is 310 West Wisconsin Avenue in Suite 580W. And they can also process those small business loans for homeowners and small businesses that would be a loan. So there would have to be a repayment plan put in place. But it is something to help out with some of those damages that have been sustained during the storm.
And one more time for folks, it doesn't always pay for everything. FEMA doesn't pay for everything. So people need to it may not pay for everything. So people need to set their expectations before they apply, whether it's in person or online?
That is correct. The intent of the funds is to get you back to a state of livability. So we want to be able to occupy our homes, but kind of address those immediate needs. And then that's where if there are bigger ticket items or larger projects that need to be addressed, you may be eligible to apply for those small business administration loans, and those can help out with those larger projects. But yeah, it is not a one-for-one damage replacement program.
The Disaster Recovery Center is open right now. What is the deadline for people to apply, whether they're doing that in person or online?
Yes, at the end of August, August 31st is the deadline as it is right now. The centers will be available as needed. If we have a demand, they'll continue to stay open. If we don't see the demand and we don't see a traffic, then they'll kind of meter back their hours and time. But as of right now, they're open, and the deadline for application is through August 31st.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about this important information that can hopefully help people regain some of the things that they lost during the April storms.
Yes, absolutely. The more we can get this information out to assist people, we appreciate your opportunity to provide that for us.
And we're happy to do that. Thanks so much for being with us.
Have a great day. Thank you.
That is it for this week on Connect MKE. I'm Denise Calloway. We will see you again next week.